think most people have joined. Oops. Yep, this is recorded. Leave now, turn off your camera if you're not comfortable with this. This is the Arborist call for the November the 13th. Welcome everyone. So this is the agenda for today. We're going to start off with some updates from the core teams, starting with the Zcash Foundation on Zebra, the Electric Coin Company on Zcash D, and core library, Zallet, then single labs with zainod, and finally Zcash D deprecation updates, which I'll be delivering today for Paku. After that, we'll have some research and implementation updates from hopefully Keret on ZSA, Shielded Labs on the network sustainability mechanism, and also Shielded Labs and the Electric Coin Company on Crosslink. And after that, we'll have some time for any announcements or any discussion that's been left over. So what are Arborist calls? They're bi-weekly calls where Zcash protocol contributors get together to discuss upgrade timelines and process, protocol R&D efforts, signing implementation of new protocol features, and we try to identify blockers and any unresolved issues. And the purpose is to make Zcash development accessible for the wide community and as many participants as possible, and to give more transparency for the community. Anyone can participate. If you're interested in learning about the Zcash protocol development, you can register at zcasharborist.org and receive details to join this meeting. Also, if you want to suggest something that we should discuss, or you want to present a topic which is relevant to Zcash protocol development, you can email us at arboristcall@serifim.org and request a slot. There are other ways to get involved. You can go to the zcashcommunitygrants.org website to request a grant. You can chat with us on the Zcash R&D Discord or the Zcash Community Forum. And there are links for these at zcasharborist.org. So with that, let's start with the core stack updates from the Zcash Foundation and the Zebra team. Marek, is that you today?
So regarding Zebra, we're in the process of releasing version 3 right now. And in terms of what we merged since the last Arborist, we merged the PR implementing zip 233 from Shielded Labs. That was sitting there for quite some time. And then we merged a bunch of updates and fixes to Zebra's RPCs to get closer to the deprecation milestone. And we made a bunch of quick fixes for Dockerfile builds. And that's all I had on my list. Huge thank you to everyone who contributed. A bunch of PRs were from external contributors. If you're speaking, Billy, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, that's why everyone was so quiet. Thank you, Marek. Any questions for Marek? I also want to add that we're going to be releasing Zebra 3.00 stable release in the next few days, ready for any 6.1 activation week after next, hopefully. Next up, the updates from Electric Coin Company. Who do you have to talk about that today?
I can take that. So the main focus over the last couple of weeks has been Zallet. We now have a PR up to update it to the new zainod chain index trait. There are a couple of things still that we will need to get cleaned up and resolved. But that's a significant upgrade, because it means that we're really moving off of the light wallet protocol backing for Zallet to, you know, having more full node chain index capabilities. The other things that that we've been working on, we have a relatively significant refactoring in the wallet backends underway that is going to move a bunch of functionality out of the SQLite specific implementation and into the general backend, so that other wallet backends, like the wallet backend, memory wallet backend, can make use of it. That's refactoring was stimulated in service of adding handling for transparent inputs and outputs to the compact block support in the Light Wallet protocol. So we're going to now have the ability to avoid a bunch of information leaking queries to the Light Wallet server by just scanning for transparent inputs and outputs in the compact blocks. There's a PR up for that on Light Wallet D that's currently in review. Let's see. Other things, thanks to some community contributions, we now have deterministic builds for Zallet, and that's pretty interesting. That's all that comes to mind to me for the moment.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions for Chris? Okay, let's move on to Single Labs and Zainod. Who's around today to talk about that? Do we have anyone? Maybe they were confused by the time. I don't see anyone from Single Labs. Let's move on, and we can come back to this if someone joins later on. Okay, next up, Zcash deprecation updates from the ECC, ZF, Single Labs. Normally this is Paco giving this, but he's traveling, so he's asked me to deliver this today. As Chris mentioned, Single and ECC are still working on the chain index feature integration, and this will help it to fully support Zallet and deprecate Light Wallet D. Then on the outreach front, there are some exchanges that already started to test Zallet and the Z3 stack. And we're already, actually, both Paco and I have been receiving feedback and questions from them. So that's very nice to see, very encouraging. He's also been working on by he, I mean Paco, has published the Zallet contributors board. So this is the place where anyone that wants to contribute to Zallet can see any open issues that there are and can contribute. So they are prioritized top to bottom. And this is based on RPC usage survey that Paco ran with various different ecosystem participants last year.
Wait, Billy, are you trying to screen share something, or
no, not yet. I will
this?
share. I'm gonna share the link on the chat now.
Thanks.
Maybe if I'm feeling adventurous, I will share my screen. Give me a minute. Yes, let's see.
No problem.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm a little bit unprepared today, and every time I try to share screens, I somehow mess up. So let's see. Let me try and share my other screen with the board so you can all see. But the link is on the chat there. There we go. So this is the board, and probably people should look at the ready column, and this is probably the implementing get wallet info is probably the most important to implement right now. So yeah, anyone wants to contribute, please take a look at the board. The URL is out there and on the chat, and yeah, looking forward to some nice contributions. Now let me get back to the slides so we can carry on. Oh, wait, there were more updates, so just 1 second. So what else? Let's see what else from Paku. So that's the board. And then finally, a reminder that all Zcash wallet developers, both transparent and shielded, will need to update the application consensus branch ID before any 6.1 activation on November the 23rd in order to avoid disruptions. And that's it for the Zcash deprecation updates. Any questions? All right, let's move on to research and implementation updates and get it. Is that Vivek today?
I'll take this one. Thank you, Billy. Can you stop the screen sharing so I can show
Yeah,
the
sure.
screen? Okay, so a quick status update on the ZSA project. So the ECC team previously merged the changes required to Halo 2 gadgets, also to Synsemilia, and also the changes required to Zcash node encryption. Currently, we have Orchard ZSA in review. On top of this, in order to finish the project, we need to merge the changes to Sapling Crypto, minimal changes here, more significant in Libra Zcash, and even more significant in Zebra. Zebra contains most of the consensus rule changes that are required to make ZSA work. In addition to this, we have 3 auxiliary code bases. One big is the Zcash test vectors repository. We updated it to support Orchard ZSA and transaction v6. This is ready for review. This is in progress. And we have the TX tool, external tool that we created to generate v6 transactions in order to test Zebra, because Zebra is not a wallet, it's just a node. So we have TX tool to work against Zebra to test v6 transactions today. I'm going to show you a short demo of the TX tool and how it works. So we have a publicly running ZSA network in this address, and we have TX tool packed into Docker into this publicly accessible address. Anyone can run this command, and it will allow interactions of the TX tool, creating ZSA transactions against the running testnet. So a quick demonstration. Okay, it will get the Docker, and then first thing, it will sync the blockchain to the tip. The testnet is somewhere around 300 blocks. We only create blocks when there are transactions submitted. Okay, so we will let it run and sync, and we will go back to this later. Okay, work on Orchard. So Orchard is basically in review. We are not doing a lot of changes. It is synced with the upstream Zcash Orchard. Basically, all our changes are built on top of the most updated Zcash Orchard, and they are in review. We fixed a small issue of shuffling action groups detected by DERA-EMA. The shuffle is now global. Previously, the shuffle was done per asset base. The issue was fixed and merged, and it is in review. We are also working on integration. Basically, we we are making sure that the Libra Zcash version that we are working include everything needed for V6 V6 transaction. The most significant is the new edition of Zcash version byte. So obviously we did it for Orchard because we did a lot of changes in Orchard. Of course, we included the Zcash version in Orchard, but we also did it for sapling and for transparent in Libra Zcash. This is also ready. And to support this change, to properly test it, you need to change the Zcash test vectors repository. We did this as well. This is now tested. The Zcash version byte is tested and properly integrated into the ZSA version of Libra Zcash. In addition to this, we integrated the NSM field as defined by zip 230. There is now zip 233 amount. It's called, sometimes it's called zip 233 amount, sometimes it's called bird amount. We are in discussions with RMA to unify the spec under one of these terms. One comment about NSM, so it's feature flagged in Libra Zcash, but there is no test in CI. So when we did it, of course, the version that we created works, but independently zip 233 feature flag is not tested in the Libra Zcash CI. The recommendation is add this to the CI. It will break many more times during the development. And if not in the CI, it will be detected only much later than it should. After this, we are also modifying fee computation to support ZSA. So this is defined in zip 317. The major addition there is to collect proper fees for ZSA. We need to answer the question whether a specific asset base was previously issued, yes or no. So previously the Zcash node could calculate the fees based only on the local transaction. But now for ZSA, there is a need of additional input from the global state, meaning the aggregated state of the blockchain, in order to answer this question. So we did these changes for Libra Zcash. Chris, go ahead.
I'm curious about that. So can't you distinguish just based upon the issuance bundle, or is it that is it the intent that only the first issuance transaction gets the altered fee, and then subsequent issuance transactions have a different fee?
So there is an additional fee introduced to newly created assets. So in order to answer the question, is this a first issuance or a subsequent issuance, you need to access the history, the global state, basically.
Should we reconsider that just as a simplification?
We can. The fees were discussed.
Yeah, I think that I skipped over, or I didn't think about the distinction between the first issuance and subsequent issuances. I mean, this is fine. You know, it's not it's obviously not something that is revealing any additional state. So that would, yeah. So it just, I guess it just complicates the implementation. Yeah, and any wallet that supports ZSAs will be able to correctly determine whether there has been a previous issuance. So it should be fine.
You're right. Any wallet that try to come up with the correct fee will need to take into the account whether this is a first issuance or a subsequent issuance. Of course, you can assume for fees, you can assume worst case and say, okay, this is first issuance, let's pay extra to simplify the wallet logic if this indeed goes in. But you're right. There is a room to reconsider this. Anyway, we implemented this as written in the zip. Vivek, go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to add that the motivation for doing it this way was to that basically like when we have an asset being issued for the first time, we would have like an entire new row added to the issuance state, like the database. And so that allowed for a more accurate representation of like the blockchain costs to have like an additional fee for doing this. So that was the motivation back then, like when we had discussed this.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. And any wallet that is doing issuance will have no problem in providing the correct input to that fee calculation function. So it's fine. Sorry for the distraction.
Not at all. This is highly relevant. So as mentioned, we did these changes to Libra Zcash, but any wallet supporting ZSA will need to take into account this logic. It can import the code from Libra Zcash, but the wallet needs to store the state to provide the current blockchain state. Okay. So this is on the subject of integration. On the subject of swaps, we have a proof of concept just to verify that TX v6 is indeed will support in the future swaps. We are doing a quick sketch for swaps just to make sure that nothing is missing. We want that TX v6 will last for many more upgrades as much as possible. So we are making sure that future features also supported in TX v6. And finally, Zebra. So the focus now on Zebra. So the testnet, the version that we deployed, the testnet version includes issuance, transfer, and burn. These three were already introduced in the past, but now it also supports finalize. So if we want to create an asset with a finite supply, like an NFT, or simply any asset with finite supply, like basically create a consensus commitment that no more issuance of this asset is possible. So we need to support finalize. So the testnet currently already support all these four. But in order to do this properly, we are putting the necessary engineering efforts into Zebra ZSA to make it not just work, but also properly with consensus, with all the needed checks, etc. And this is the work on Zebra. Going back to the demo, so the blockchain synced. There are 381 blocks. We are redeploying it from time to time to make the blockchain short. So the new edition is, so previously we had issue, transfer, burn. Okay, that's already history. The new edition is finalize asset. So you can submit a transaction to finalize this specific asset. And then we are testing this finalization component by trying to issue more of the previously finalized assets, and we are getting rejected. This is the new addition to the demo. Other than this, this concludes the ZS update.
Thank you, Pablo. Let me share my screen again. Any questions for Pablo?
Alfredo, go ahead.
Yeah, so in regard to the Zcash test vectors, I was taking a look to the credit PR. And one of the things I think is that there are some stuff in the PR that are kind of not absolutely needed, like CI changes or other utility stuff. And I was wondering if I can suggest to split it into at least two PRs to make the diff smaller. And if that will not be an additional problem of having to review two PRs instead of one at the end.
So sure, I was under the impression that everything there is needed, but the idea is to put the most compact implementation.
Yeah.
If you have specific
Yeah, I
case,
think there's
for
some
sure.
stuff that's not, I mean, that could be split it out, and maybe that will make it easier for review as well to other people. But I don't know, it's a suggestion. I can send the comments. I have them around, and yeah, you can try them
Sure.
out. Okay.
Sure, looking forward to this. Two changes there: the Orchard bundle and the TXV6, like two
Yeah, that's
major
another thing.
groups.
Reminds me that NSM has a PR open to SN repository as well, and they are adding a transaction B6 that will kind of conflict with the ones you did. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just mainly naming the stuff. They name it another way. They did a base transaction similar to what you did, but with a few difference. I think that PR is more ready to be merged and probably will be merged first. So you will have to upgrade your PR probably to match that, or I don't know how we're going to handle it.
Yeah, this is pretty much the same situation as Libra Zcash. So the NSM
Okay.
thing was merged, and then we build on top of this as part of integration.
Cool. Thank you.
Send me the links, Alfredo, or the comments, please.
Cool. Thank you, Alfredo. Any other questions for Pablo?
Yeah, sorry. I have one more. So regards to what you were talking about the first time you issue an asset different fee. So I'm not sure, should we have an RPC method to get asset information, or that is private information? So I mean, like I want to get asset info RPC method with the asset ID, and then it can return, for example, if it's finalized or if it's the first time or whatever.
So it's a good idea. It's a good suggestion. It's not required for consensus, but as a utility to the user, this is definitely welcome. We can discuss this option, and if on given asset, we want to, okay, the user might want to know whether this asset is finalized, what is the current supply, and maybe additional information. This is very useful
But
for anyone.
that's public or private information?
So the issuance is public. So the supply for any given asset is also public. It's public information because you can read it from the blockchain. If you scan the chain independently, you can get this information. The issue was designed to be public on purpose. We want to show the amount being issued. The subsequent transfers are private. Especially this is important if this is an NFT or finite supply, so you have consensus guarantees that the supply is finite and the concrete number of the supply.
Thanks, Pablo. Any other questions? Okay, let's move on to the network sustainability mechanism. Who's talking about that today? Mark, is that you?
It's Mariusz.
Oh, okay.
Yes, hi. So thanks for merging the ZIP 233 PR. I am currently rebasing and updating the ZIP 234 and 35 PR. So I think by the end of the month it should be ready. Also, I think I've done all the updates based on the feedback on the Zcash test vectors PR. It's 101 PR. So I think this one is ready to merge.
Okay, thank you, Mariusz. Any questions for Mariusz?
Just a couple other things I wanted to mention. So just to let everybody know, Mariusz and the Iger team are going to be, excuse me, rolling off of the NSM project at the end of November, and then Shielded Labs will handle all the remaining work internally. So that's all the rebasing, addressing comments, merging zips 234 and 235 into Zebra. Judo Caruso is going to be the primary contact for that, and you can also reach out to Mark. And then the other thing I wanted to mention before we move on to Crosslink is we've had a couple new engineers join us recently that I wanted to briefly introduce. I mentioned Judah. He joined us as Shielded Labs DevRel engineer, and like I said, we'll be working on the NSM, but he's also supporting various ecosystem partners. He's doing some work on Crosslink, and he's currently running one of the voting authority nodes for the upcoming Coinholder Grants Program round. And then earlier this week, we had Philip join, and Philip helped us implement our own version of Tendermint that we call Tenderlink, which we first used during last month's Crosslink workshop. And he's currently working on building a wallet interface that enables different staking actions, which we will showcase during our next workshop in early December. Neither of them are on the call today, but you'll definitely see them around.
Sounds great. Look forward to working with them, Jason.
Great.
Anything else, or shall we move on? Okay, let's move on. Crosslink wants to give the update.
Yes, I can give our update. We are, just to remind people of the big picture, we are in a prototype phase, and our plan is to finish a fully functional prototype by the first quarter of next year. And like Jason just mentioned, we have a few new team members. They're helping out with Crosslink, so that's really exciting. And then we have also started talking to the Zingo team about making an iOS demo for our prototype. Hopefully the idea is by the time the prototype is ready, we'll have like 2 example wallets that are not yet production safe, but just demoing the full user experience. So right now we're working on what we call milestone 4B, and we're planning to do a workshop on December 3rd. And the goal of this workshop versus the last workshop is to change. In the last workshop, we have basically just an arbitrary weight, like a fake number for the weight in the proof of stake roster. And the goal of this milestone is to connect that to the test Zcash. We call that CTAS. Yeah, so that's the goal. And where we are at now is we've modified transaction format by just creating an entirely new version. So it's not a format 6 or anything like that yet. And that includes a staking action field. And so that field is now like honored by our demo. So you can run the demo, but and the staking actions are going through transactions, but the units of weight are still arbitrary numbers. And to make this work as an expedient, we disabled the fees check, like the ZIP 317 fees check, so that we can issue these transactions without a real wallet. We just create the stake weight ex nihilo. So to get to the end of this milestone, now what we need to do is hook up the stake weight to the actual mined asset that's tracked by consensus. So there's a few steps there. First, we have to make sure transaction balances with the staking amounts and the rest of the Zcash flowing in and out of the pool, test Zcash. So there's that step in verification. And then we need to, in order to create one of these transactions, we have to have a wallet that can spend Orchard notes and produce a staking action. And then it can also unstake and return those funds to the Orchard pool. So that's our goal for December 3rd. And we've also been doing other iterative improvements, like such as on our visualizer tool. So we hope to see you all there. Any questions or comments?
That's great. Loving to hear how you're collaborating with other ecosystem, like the Single Labs collaboration. That's nice to hear about.
Yeah, hopefully it will be nice to have two different wallet implementations happening, so we can sort of triangulate how, different approaches.
Yeah. Yeah. Any questions or other comments for Nate?
Oh, sorry. One other detail I missed is that also for this milestone, we want to open a draft PR against the zips repo where we will have a zip covering, it'll be partial and incomplete, and also the prototype design may shift a lot as we conclude the prototype and move on to the actual design and implementation. But we wanted to open that soon so that zip editors and others can start looking at that and providing early feedback.
Great. Any other comments? Any comments on what Nate just mentioned? Okay, let's move on. Any announcements from anyone? Raise your hand. Last chance announcements? Nope. Okay. Any discussion items? Anything else that we want to go into depth?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I have something floating around in the back of my mind that's important while Keta is here. I have heard from a few different people who are interested in trying to bridge Bitcoin to Zcash, which would require ZSAs. So I was hoping I could introduce them to Ketit. So who should I connect them with?
Sure. Please send them our way, myself and John, and we will happily discuss any such thing.
Great. Do I have your Signal contact, or
I will ping you on Discord. And,
oh, okay. All right. Thanks.
Thanks, Nate.
Any other announcements or discussion items? Last chance? No? Quick call today. Maybe I wasn't the only one that was not ready for this one today. Well, great. Thanks, everyone. The next Arborist call is going to be on the 27th of November at 21 UTC. Double, triple check that. I won't be joining that one. It's too late for me, but yeah, look forward to watching it after. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Billy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.